Another day in the NBA, our last show of the week here on the Splash Play channels. So we're going to dig in and do the work as only we can here. We're going to compare my data, one of the industry leaders over at Stokastic. I am so tired, guys. This has been too many hours of streams in one day. We're going to compare my data to our friends over at Stokastic, see who the top plays are, see who the top values are, how owned they are. We'll go game by game as well, see what the advantage points look like as we go through all the various matchups today. We'll run over to Stokastic Sims tool, see how things look without my data involved. And by in this video, guys, you'll know all the must plays for today's November 21st NBA slate. Let's get into it. Coming off 2 hours of NFL streams. So if you want some NFL content for week 12, go over there and check that out. And I also just crammed cereal in my face, updated all my stuff, posted the podcast form of the NFL videos. I am hyper productive, even though it might not seem like it based upon the fact that I look generally a little bit like an idiot here every day. But I'll tell you what, not results wise. I thought it was funny yesterday after dealing with a troll who was like pointing out my projections being a little bit off market, which, as you know, as we talk about here frequently, that's a feature and not a bug. Yesterday, we talked at great length about my projections being off market on Ryan Rollins. Ryan Rollins, the best Ryan Rollins game that's ever existed yesterday. He and Tyrese Maxey carried me valiantly to a top 20 finish yesterday in the 4-point play. And overall, had, I think, 3 lineups in the top 100 or 150 or so. So, like, it was a good night for me. I mentioned on the NFL streams, profitable in NFL and NBA, which is all we can ever ask for. But I feel good about my data right now. I do feel good about little bits of differences that we have here. So, you know, that's how we're running things right now. But the work begins, as it always does here. It's our last show of the week. Let's finish it out strong. And shout out to all you guys, too. I think we hit the second highest like number on the channel yesterday, which is crazy for a Thursday video when we have football going on. So shout out to all you guys that do watch this video, whether it is live or after the fact. Please do hit that like button. Please subscribe here, and let's keep the channel moving in the right direction, because it's a lot of work, guys, but I do it for the love of the game. We're doing it. A lot of long line of idiots in front of me. Yes, that's probably true. And 31 people, that number will go up. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. We've been hitting it every day. You guys do a good job of it, so let's keep it going here as best we can. All right. I love hearing this. Love that some of your data's off market. That's why I watched. I mean, that's the point, and that's what I like to gamble off of. As I've mentioned before, like, if I won the most money because my data was off market on Jason Tatum many moons ago, where he was a 3% play on a playoff slate that won me 60K. It's sort of what the point is of making your own data, is that things look a little bit different. It's always good to balance things out. Check Stokastic like we're going to do here and like we do every day. But ultimately, if you make something yourself, or if you trust something, a data source like mine, like Stokastics, like ETRs, and you should trust those, use them. I mean, that's what you fucking do. We got our top projected play. That's Nikola Jokic again. And it's NBA Cup day as well, so expect a few more minutes for guys. Expect the potential of games that are blowouts. You get another fourth quarter stint for some teams. It's sort of how it goes. But for Nikola Jokic, 13.2 salary, 67 projection for me. Stokastic's at 63. The field doesn't want to play him. 4% expected ownership here. That was the case last time out for Jokic as well when he was 13K on a slate. I'm willing to go there, though. 22% ownership. It's not going to make or break my night. But I really do think for Jokic at this point, the fact he's put up 80-point games multiple times within the last couple weeks, you want to be there for the upside. And on any slate, whether it's a short one with 7 games, like the DK main slate today, I think you want to be above the field on Jokic if you can, as long as he's not mega chalk. Today at 4% expected ownership, he's not mega chalk. That can always change as the slate goes on. Of course, if you get more value opening up, the ownership for Jokic may come up a little bit, but 13.2 is a price tag. Not many. I don't even think Westbrook hit that. I think Westbrook hit 13K back in the day when he was putting up triple doubles left and right. I don't believe he got above 13K. I could be wrong about that. I'm not perfect on historical things, but I do think that's how I recall it. So Jokic, one of our highest priced NBA DFS players ever. Still no Christian Brown for the team. He looks good to me. Willing to go to Jokic. If you want to critique anything about Jokic, I would say it's the fact that they are playing Houston. The total for today between those two teams, 234.5. Not a high total. Does seem like a more defensively minded total, which makes sense given the fact that Houston and Denver, a little bit above league average in terms of their defenses on the year. So for Jokic, willing to play him here in an NBA Cup kind of day. But 22% for me, Fields at 4. Happy with it. I didn't already take my Rollins victory lap, but yes, thank you for that. Yeah, look, it felt good. Certainly felt good to see him playing his mind out. He really was aggressive yesterday too, which was a lot of fun. Harden got pretty well up in price at one time. That's true. He did as well. I don't think he passed 13K either. I remember Westbrook being the highest that I can remember. I don't recall it passing 13K. That doesn't ring a bell to me. Alper and Şengün, if you're not playing Jokic, much easier to get to Şengün here. I think it is a little bit of a pace up on paper for Houston facing Denver, but both teams playing under 100 pace. So, not the fastest paced teams in the league by any stretch. But Şengün here producing 1.33 fantasy points per minute. Today, accounting for the matchup, I'd have him at 1.4. Gains a little bit statistically from having Tari Eason unavailable, but I didn't juke the rates for it. Şengün to me, 13% owned. Happy to get 30%, a little bit less than that, because I think he is a strong play at 9,700. And really, not a lot of pay up options beside Jokic on the slate. So you pay up all the way for Jokic, great. If not, Şengün is there. About 17 fantasy points lower for me in projection, but still has the upside, and especially going against Denver, maybe some theoretical leverage against Jokic if he were to pick up any amount of ownership. Josh Giddey. So Giddey, expensive here. Kobe White is in the data set as well. But gigantic total in Miami, Chicago. 249.5 is the over-under for that game right now. Chicago, 126 implied points. Miami, 123.5. That is massive numbers. So Giddey, pace up spot here. Miami, one of the fastest paced teams in the league, I think technically right now. They are number one with a 105 or so pace. Bulls playing at about a 103 pace normally. So Bulls, one of the fastest teams. Now they're playing an even faster team. That's where you expect more peripherals to go for a guy like Giddey, who has on the year 9.7 assists per game, just shy of 10 rebounds per game. Like the triple double is in play potentially for Giddey here. Fields there though, 22% ownership. I'm at 17. I get it with the matchup, with the team total, with the pace, like all this stuff fits for Giddey. That's a lot of ownership for Giddey when he doesn't project incredibly well for me. Flat 5x value is what I've got Giddey at. Stokastic has him a little bit higher, 1.7 fantasy points higher. But Kobe White's been producing a lot to start the year with a 32% usage rate and a 40% assist rate. Him being in, assuming that he is in, does hurt Giddey enough for me that I don't think he's a smash play. And frankly, I think playing Kobe White is a tournament option. If you're going to get that much Giddey ownership, I would take that shot. But really, you could play it because this matchup with Miami is like, again, another game where I don't recall there being a total just shy of 250. And that's what you're getting today. SGA, late slate option here. He did play the fourth quarter last game because the Thunder did not fully run away with it, but still not playing a ton of minutes overall. The minutes upside not as high as a guy like Jokic, theoretically, as a guy like Şengün, Giddey. For SGA, I'm not getting him on many slates because he's also not really been on the main slate super often. But you can play him. I really have an issue with SGA besides the fact that, like, if they're up 10, SGA is usually not coming in the fourth, and you need every minute you get from most players because it's so competitive NBA DFS wise, people finding their ceilings. Like, I had no reason to play Nickeil Alexander-Walker yesterday, and there was still a good amount of people that played him, got 60 fantasy points from him. That's NBA DFS in 2025. Any good player in a slate's going to get played. So SGA doesn't look good on paper, but if he were to win a tournament, like, you would find him in a lot more lineups than you would think. Steph Curry here, late slate as well. No Kuminga. Not a bad play, but we don't care about the late slate because it's not on the DraftKings main slate. So if you want to hear me think more about that, if it's on FanDuel, I'll talk about it on Stokastic's Live Before Lock show later today at 6 p.m. Eastern. Jaylen Brown, 7% ownership overall. I'm getting him at 12. 9K salary, a little bit aggressive for him, but with how he's played this year, I've got him at 45 fantasy points. Stokastic has him at 43. Jaylen Brown has been the best shooter on the Celtics, as we've talked about many times here. Shooting for himself above league average, 58.9% true shooting. Has come down a little bit where he was coasting over 60 for a while. But league average is about 58 and change. He's at 58.9. Derek White due for positive regression still. I would say Peyton Pritchard due for a little bit of positive regression overall. Jaylen Brown about where he should be. So I think he looks okay relative to matchup versus Brooklyn, one of the worst defenses in basketball. Low pace team, giving up 123 points per 100 possessions. That is a bad mark for Brooklyn's defense. Jaylen Brown, if it's a competitive game, he'll look good. And if it's not competitive, if they were to blow him out, probably means that Jaylen Brown was a part of that as well. So not a bad play to be off the field on. It's single digit ownership, but definitely not a chalky must-have kind of play. Devin Booker, a little bit of an uptick for the lack of Jalen Green still. That's going to go on for probably a few more weeks. Grayson Allen out as well. But Devin Booker at 9,400. I've got him at 44.4. Stokastic has him at 45. Not looking like a great projection play today. But he's playing Minnesota at home. You know, Minnesota, a little bit better than league average defense this year. Probably their potential's higher than that. The usage for Booker does get up to 33.6% without Grayson Allen this year. A little bit more an assist upside as well. It's a tough spot versus Minnesota, especially if you have Jaden McDaniels in. Like, that's probably going to be his primary defender, and he will make it hard on Booker. But I do think on the slate, like really, if you have a lean for these pay up options, assuming that nothing changes here, there isn't some value that opens up. There's somebody getting ruled out that makes one player look appreciably better than the others. Like it's a lot of ownership for Giddey right now, and I think if White's in, he's not as much of a great play as people might be playing him at. Like the total's awesome. He should get close to a triple double. I get all that. But Brown can hit a ceiling that beats him out. Booker can. Donovan Mitchell can. And that happens more than enough times that Mitchell spikes an upside, whether Garland is in or not. I think that's one way to handle things on the slate is just flatten out Giddey a little bit more. He looks like the best play, but really projection-wise, he's not that far ahead of Jaylen Brown. He's not that far ahead of Devin Booker. He's not that far ahead of Donovan Mitchell. Michael Porter Jr., a guy that we have had a lot on slates lately. Willing to be there again at 8,100. I have for 43.1 fantasy points. Stokastic has him for a flat 40. Fields expected to own him about 14%. I've got him at 33 today. Again, it's one of those things in my data where happened a lot last year when I would have above market, when I'd be above market on Cat, be above market on the Grimes run in particular. Miles Bridges a lot when LaMelo first went out. Like those players, I just kind of ride until it doesn't make sense anymore in the data to do that. Michael Porter Jr., still a little bit under projected, I think, by Stokastic. He's put up a 31% usage rate without Cam Thomas on the year, rebounding a little bit more without him too. Assist upside's almost at 20%, which is pretty good for Michael Porter Jr. and what we think of him historically. Obviously, Brooklyn being a massive dog on the road, they are a 15.5-point dog. You run the risk of Porter Jr. not playing that fourth quarter, getting blown off the court. But at 14% ownership, I'm willing to kind of go the other way here. And just play a little bit more Porter Jr. So if Brooklyn stays competitive in this game, I think it's likely because Michael Porter Jr. had a good day, and maybe pairing him with some Celtics might be a decent move. Scotty Barnes, Fields at 24%. I'm at 20. Barnes, your highest upside Raptor for sure. But, I think Ingram's still playable at a cheaper price tag. Quickly at his price tag looks okay to me. Pirtle is going to be pretty chalky at his. They're playing Washington, so anything can happen in terms of the upside here. And Barnes should gain a little bit more in steal upside, peripheral upside, all of that. Playing against, I believe, Washington is the actual worst defense in the league right now, getting up 124 points per 100 possessions. You can play whatever Raptors you want. I think Barnes being this owned, I'm cool being around it. I don't need to be above Barnes that much. I think you want to split it a little bit more and try to capture whichever Raptor is going to hit the biggest upside. Like I would assume it's Barnes because he's the best producer at about 1.3 fantasy points per minute. But like with how usage goes, Ingram gets hot, Barrett gets hot, and nobody's going to play Barrett. That's one way that Barnes doesn't hit and you get leverage on the field. So be willing to play some Raptors, but I don't think it has to be Barnes despite him being the best one. And Jamal Murray, 1.5% ownership for the field. I'm at 3.3. Tough matchup on paper versus Houston. That said, he can get going in any spot. I am projecting him about 3.8 fantasy points higher than Stokastic is. Murray, as I've mentioned, has been looking like the best version of himself this year. So I'm willing to go there in a spot where it doesn't seem like Denver's going to get too played today. People are afraid of that Houston matchup. But Houston is a good defense. It's really, on paper, no better than anybody else in terms of the defensive efficiency that they give up and all that. So low on Murray, low on Jokic. If that game goes nuts, it's something. Feels like something. We're going to sort by value here. I do appreciate the kind chats. A lot of people just tuning in and excited about Ryan Rollins. That Rollins made me some dough on the books in DFS. Appreciate your work. Thank you, Fistula. I appreciate that. And great call. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it, guys. Look, we're going to get stuff right some days. Yesterday was one, though, where I was definitely on an island with that a little bit. He was still owned. Rollins is owned a good amount, but it does feel good, and I appreciate you guys giving me some amount of flowers on it. It's just, it's just the data. It's no big deal, guys. It's just, it did make you feel good, though, if that guy was like, oh, you're above market. Fuck off, man. We all know market prices. The point is, if you make your own model, you listen to it. I listen to mine. But guys, hit that like button, subscribe here. If you want somebody that does create their own data and originate takes here and does the best I can to live up to them every day, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. You guys have been awesome about doing that as this channel surges back. We're now in 1 month in, and this has been probably the most viewed month of content I've done on my own, including the Splash Play NFL channel. So shout out to you guys for being here every day. I am here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. every day. Please keep hitting that like button. Please subscribing. And please also keep joining the channel if you want access to the stuff I show you here on screen, my data, which updates through the night whenever there's anything that has to be updated, starting lineup changes, minutes, whatever, things like that. Vegas totals. I do that. And of course, the Squirt Squad tiers will get you the matchup screen. These VIP tier will get you my exportable projections, but support the show. Keep joining. Shout out to you guys that have. And when you join, check the YouTube community tab and you will see all the ways to get to the Discord or just get the sheets on Google Sheets if you don't want to join Discord, if you can't figure it out. And last but not least, Stokastic too. Of course, I show you their data here on screen, but check it out as it updates every day long. A lot of people winning money on Stokastic, and NFL especially, but NBA every slate as well. You'll find guys finishing on top of the tournaments. You want professional data and not just relying on the mom and pop shop that I am. Check them out. Get 15% off, the only deal they have going right now for the NBA, with the promo code SPLASH or by clicking the link in the description. Steven Adams, $4,100 salary, 19% owned. Played very well the last game for Houston as a value option. Is a little bit overlooked on the slate. Real fast, we'll go to the popcorn machine. Here we go. So last game, we had an Adams start. A lot of minutes in the first half, a little bit less in the second half, but overall ended up playing 28 minutes with 6 points, 13 peripherals in that game, minus turnovers. Good spot overall for Steven Adams. I would say the minutes a little bit less secure here because of the fact that you kind of had the too big situation for Cleveland. They could go smaller. But Tari Eason being out basically opens opportunity for Steven Adams. I don't love him being a superly owned play by me. 19% for the field. I'm at 31. I can live with that. Right now, there isn't great value on the slate. And Adams, if he were to start, would be pretty good value. And it's one of those slates right now where we don't really have like smash. These guys are going to play value. Adams is a Q tag that doesn't matter right now because it's in the data set. But if he didn't play, obviously we wouldn't play him. With him being in the data set, though, he looks like good value. And that's what we're preparing for is the things that, can. You'll love telling me when guys are Q tags. I'm aware, usually. If they get ruled out during the show, tell me they're ruled out. But Q tags, they're still in the data usually. That's it for Steven Adams here. Think he's a good value play. Would love to see better value open up. But on this slate, even if he's the backup, he might still come up as a value play because of the fact that, there really isn't that screaming value option on the slate. Everybody who's supposed to play today is, for the most part, pretty much playing. Okay, there you go, Copy. You got me. It's the people love telling me about injuries. It's like, I know. I usually know. Sometimes, though, when they break on the show, during that, in about 10 minutes, if there's a bunch of dudes ruled out, those I won't know. So you can surprise me. You can see whoa, fuck. That's how that goes. Yesterday with Joel Embiid, that was one of those. Jamal Shed, 3,400 here, 15% ownership. I'm getting him at 36. Really just reflects the fact that there is not good value on the slate. Toronto is also playing Washington, so that's another part of the equation. Some chance that Shed gets a few extra minutes because of the fact they don't have to be super competitive, most likely here. Jamal Shed, last game, you could see, not so impressive. 5 minutes stint here. Get 5 minutes, another 4. That's 9. You got to 20 in total here. 20 minutes on a slate where there isn't value is enough to get Jamal Shed. I'm getting him at 36%. That feels like a lot. Getting a ton of Steven Adams, a ton of Jamal Shed currently. It's really just kind of like placeholder value right now where if anything better opens up, these guys come down, the other guys will pop up. But as it is right now, Jamal Shed seems a little bit too cheap for the role, and especially accounting for the fact that he's playing Washington. No Naz Reid for value. He is getting, why would he be value? He's expensive. You could play him. He's a good tournament play on any slate, as we've seen many slates lately, but he is now 5,900, and I have him projected for 26.5. Stokastic has for 25.8, so he would actively be a bad value today. Just because he produced above his value for 2 games does not mean that you want to keep paying a rising price tag. In general, one of the rules of thumb for NBA DFS is price sensitivity is the most important thing. So when guys go up, you normally don't want to chase the price tag all the way up unless there's a reason to do it. And when guys come down, you want to play them more because usually they were priced at a higher level because that ties to their median projection. So you certainly can play Naz Reid, but he looks the worst he's looked in about a week because he's hit multiple times and he's now expensive. Keyshawn George, a guy I've been getting a lot on slates lately, and he keeps paying off. So he's another guy I don't think I've highlighted as much on stream, but I'll be there pretty heavy today. Getting him at 61% field to 25. The matchup versus Toronto, even though Toronto is a good team, defensively, not one I'm terribly worried about. They are firmly league average across the board. Alex Sarr is a Q tag right now, and Marvin Bagley is doubtful. So if you get those guys out, it's going to look different. Number one, you would get Vucevic being crazy value. You would also get Keyshawn George looking a lot better. But as it is right now, I've got him 4 fantasy points higher than Stokastic. Keyshawn George, a very good play. 25% owned in my opinion. But with him, I think being over 40 fantasy points the last 3 games, he might get played pretty chalkily today. 25% ownership is the expectation, but if he got to 33 or so, it wouldn't be shocking. Derek Queen, 48% ownership for the field right now. I'm getting him at 60. Derek Queen had a monster effort versus Jokic last time out. Put up 30 points in that game. Popcorn machine for him, you could see. He did start alongside Zion. Picked up only one foul, then left. You're really not great first quarter. Then he came in, started making some shots. Second half, he played an ungodly amount of minutes here as they were behind. Derek Queen is definitely more stable in the rotation now with the new coaching change there with Borrego taking over, but also having Makovic out is probably helping him a little bit. I think Queen's minutes are stable. Certainly if Zion goes nuts here, he's going to pull from Queen. If Trey Murphy goes nuts here, he would also give Queen less of a rollout. But Queen gets usage. He gets rebounds. He did not defer to Zion as much as I would have thought in that last game. So I'm heavy on Queen right now, but certainly the field is there. 48% ownership and without value on the slate. Mid-tier price for Derek Queen is coming up a whole lot right now. Reed Shepherd, I'm getting 31%. Fields at 7. Reed Shepherd did not hit last game, mostly because he didn't close that game out. They ended up going to Aaron Holiday for closing time, which I think was a reflection of the want for defense there, playing Donovan Mitchell. Today for Houston, you do have them going against Denver and Jamal Murray. So I think if Murray is killing them, you might not get Reed Shepherd closing today. But at 4,800 on a slate with no value, I think Reed Shepherd kind of guys, Jamal Shed kind of guys, Steven Adams kind of guys, those are the ones you get as value proxy. So Reed Shepherd, there is risk to the minutes here. If he plays 22, he's probably not going to pay off. But at 7% owned, I'm willing to hope that he does get the closing run there, gets more to like 25, to the 26.8 minute projection that Stokastic has here. But there is risk to Reed Shepherd's minutes, so just something to keep in mind if you play him a lot or you get him a lot in lineups. Do I get the Mac? You get whatever package you want. If you click the link in the description, it'll show you a menu of all the stuff you could pick. So whichever one you get is 15% off. It's your choice. But please do check out one of them. And if you do sign up, try to get a month because number one, you want more time for yourself. And number two, it does, it makes everybody more money. So basically the way it works too, just so you guys are fully aware, your first 8 payments come to Stokastic, I get credit for. After that, they just keep the money themselves. So when you get a month, I get like 8 months. When you do a week, I get 8 weeks. So, but follow your hearts, get whatever's going to work for you, but check it out. It is really important, I think, at this point, especially for NFL, but for NBA too, using data like Stokastics. I mean, I think mine is good too, but like Stokastics, having that reliability and the sim as well, and understanding what top lineups look like according to them, really important part of the process. So check it out. And thanks for asking me. I appreciate you wanting to check it out. Real roller. Sorry. AJ Mitchell, my guy who I'm always over projecting. If only he hits 1 3-pointer, he will hit the projection. That said, he's on the late slate. Another spot for OKC where Mitchell keeps getting good minutes. If he hits his shots, he's going to break the slate. If he doesn't hit his shots, he'll put 30 fantasy points up. But really, AJ Mitchell, one of those guys that never really kills you on a slate, even though people will get mad about me over projecting him a little bit. He's been playing well. He's also shooting a little bit under league average, and I don't think that keeps up forever. He's probably one of the worst shooters on the Thunder. So if you want to shit on him for anything, that's it. But AJ Mitchell at this point, not on the slate, so it doesn't really matter, but always looks like a good play to me, as long as the price tag's not coming up too much. Simone Fontecchio gained some usage because of Andrew Wiggins being out, so that helps him out a little bit. AJ Mitchell also helped out by Aaron Wiggins being out. So we got 2 guys in a row being aided by the Wiggins and availabilities. Fontecchio, last game for Miami, I think played like 20 minutes versus Golden State. Yeah, he played 19 minutes last game, and that was with Wiggins being active. So Fontecchio gaining a little bit in usage. Another guy here where the minutes are not terribly secure, only a 20.8 minute projection. But if he hits some threes, he can, pay off pretty easily, I would think. If he gets some assist upside as well, it could look a little bit better. But for how Fontecchio looks at 3,500, 13% ownership. I'm getting him at 22. Not a big stand here, but on a slate without value, Fontecchio is one of those guys I feel less confident about, I would say, than Steven Adams. Less confident about, in some respect, than Jamal Shed. But these are the 3 guys that, to me, are coming up a good amount as just better value plays for the bench options than anybody else. Was Westbrook at 15K? Okay. I trust you on that. That does vaguely ring a bell, but I honestly can't remember. Alex Sarr, 29% ownership for me right now. Fields at 22. If Sarr plays, he looks good. He has a Q tag right now. Facing Toronto, you'll be close to the rim with Pirtle. That's fine. And Pirtle's also going to be much higher owned, so you get some theoretical leverage if you do play Sar. But Sar on the year, averaging 1.3 fantasy points a minute. He's been really good. He's another guy that I've played a lot in slates, and he's paid off even in spots like against Cleveland at fairly low ownership. Sar, I like if he's in. If he's out, Tristan Vukcevic is the first player in a lineup. You should lock button him. You should not think twice about it. So a really important spot for Washington right now where Sar looks good if he's in. If Sar is out, Vukcevic, most important play of the slate, just play him. DeAndre Hunter, another guy I've had a little bit high overall this year. He's paid off for the most part. Last slate actually was a pretty good small forward play. And today is another one too, where small forward has been really bad on DraftKings for a while. It doesn't look great again. Part of why I'm getting Fontecchio so much is that. But DeAndre Hunter plays reliable minutes, sometimes loses a few to guys like Naquan Tomlin. But if Tomlin starts alongside of him, that makes it easier for Hunter to protect his minutes. But at this point for Hunter, he's getting more usage than Evan Mobley on the year. Hunter can defend a little bit better than he has, can get some takeaways. He hasn't really been doing that a bunch this year. But Hunter at 5,900 on a slate where small forward's not good. I play Hunter, guys like Hunter a lot, and he's coming up 3x the field for me right now. 8% for the field. I'm at 24. Jeremiah Fears, I'm getting 2x the ownership here. He's been playing decently lately for New Orleans as well. Didn't close out that last game, but did get fourth quarter run. He's back to playing only when Alvarado's not. So that's kind of annoying. Yeah, I don't love Fears today. Liked Fears more when he and Alvarado could play together and were playing the rotation more reliably together. But at 4,900 on a slate without value, he's okay. If anything better opens up, though, would love to get a little bit lower on Fears. But I'm getting 2x the field right now, 26% for me, Fields at 13. And Isaiah Joe, also late slate for OKC. He looks okay if you're playing that late slate at 4,300. We're going to go game by game here, guys. Again, one more ask. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Goes a long way for me here. Just one dude showing you my gambling as best I can. This is the data I've used to win money for myself many times over in NBA DFS. But I work really hard at this and trying to make it better every day. As I mentioned on stream yesterday, NBA Wowie with Add More Funds is not working correctly. So I had to code up a way to use Fantasy Labs on-off tool instead. I really try my best to make sure I'm giving myself good data, and also you guys are getting the benefit of that as well as much as I can. So please show some love. Hit that like button, subscribe. And again, do check out Stokastic. Guys like Real Roller are flirting with it a little bit, but that's that. Per Chat GPT, which can be inaccurate, Westbrook's highest price is 13K. That's what I thought. Maybe FanDuel used 15K. That's possible, but I don't know. I trust. I don't think Gary would say that this specifically out of nowhere, but I remember 13K as being the marker. Indiana, 113 implied points here. Cleveland, 126.5. Indiana, full health at this point. Matherin's the only option I'm really getting at 15%. Isaiah Jackson, even though his minutes looked more stable last game, the ownership came up as a result. Jay Huff was the one to go nuts off the bench, as I believe the third center off the bench behind Bradley. I think that for Indiana at this point, I don't love it getting more crowded, but Matherin to me feels a little bit underpriced. Nembhard, his high usage days are probably going to keep trickling down because Matherin is back in. Yeah, Cleveland's defense is at least league average, a little bit better than it. So I'm not an Indiana guy today. I'll save some time on it. Cleveland, 126.5 implied points. A low on Donovan Mitchell, low on Evan Mobley, who looks like he'll be decently owned by the field. My projection is about 1.5 fantasy points lower, though. Part of that's probably because I am a little bit higher on DeAndre Hunter. Certainly, if you wanted to flatten this out a little bit, give DeAndre Hunter a 31-point projection, give Mobley 40, maybe even 40 and a half. That might be a better way to attack this. But I'm getting less Mobley, only 15% Fields at 21, getting more Hunter, 24% Fields at 8. I like stuff like this because it just allows my data to make me unique naturally. But Hunter is shooting more shots on the year than Mobley. Obviously, getting less rebounds, assisting less, less blocks as well, less steals. But Hunter to me at 5,900, Mobley at 7,900. I'm cool with either, really. Jared Allen, not really there, but he's a 5.1x value playable. Jalen Tyson, shooting guard, small forward, getting back to the lineup here after I believe it was a concussion for him. I forget what it was. But he had some injury. He was out for a while. Now he's back in and is much cheaper as a result. If he were to start, and I guess that's a possibility with Sam Merrill out, it should be Tomlin again. Actually, no, because Garland's in. Never mind. Assuming Garland is in, it should be Garland. But if not, if Garland were out, probably Tomlin. but a shot it could be Tyson. If Tyson starts at 3,100, he's a good play. If he comes off the bench at 16% ownership, you probably want to be with it if there isn't value on the slate, but it's a lot of ownership for a guy playing off the bench who doesn't do a whole lot. Is there enough good value to get a good lineup with Jokic today? Yeah, I mean, there's always enough. It just depends on how much you value Jokic is really always what it comes down to. But, Stokastic's only giving you 3%, so it does not seem like they think there is. So feel free to default to that. Brooklyn, 103.5 implied points. Really only Michael Porter Jr. for me. I'm at this stage where these prices are. Boston's defense, I mean, above league average by a little. It is a pace down for Brooklyn as well, who's already playing pretty slow. Yeah, I don't know if I mean, 33% Michael Porter Jr., I can live with that. I just don't think he kills me on the slate. And that's the case what it was a couple of slates ago or whatever, when the last time he played. He put up like 41 fantasy points at a spot where he was mega chalk, but still made the winning lineup because like Porter Jr. generally is scoring enough that he's not going to kill you. That's sort of how I view him today, is like if his salary allows me to get the spiking guys around him, great. But I do have him a little bit higher than Stokastic, more than 2x the ownership for me. For Michael Porter Jr., Fields at 14. Boston, thought Derek White be a little bit higher owned this morning. 12% ownership is expected here. I'm getting him at 17. I don't love Derek White, but he is still due to shoot better any day now, even though I've literally said that for every NBA slate for like a month. Since the season opened, Derek White's been due to shoot better. But at 48% true shooting, he's not a bad shooter. He's about 10% under league average right now. At some point that gets going, and against Brooklyn, it does feel like that can be the spot. Jaylen Brown above the field on him, Derek White above on him, Pritchard above him on a little bit, by a little bit. These guys all look pretty decent to me. None of them like core plays, none of them splash plays for the day, but all of them I think playable for Boston. Brooklyn is just a bad defense. Washington, 113 implied points. Toronto, 127.5. 14.5 point favorites are Toronto at home here. And I would say too, a lot of big spreads today. I think that's kind of the NBA Cup stuff. Markets haven't always felt like they've adjusted to that, but it does seem like with pretty big spreads, like we got 15 plus point spreads in 4 games. We got Indiana, Cleveland is like about 14. Brooklyn, Boston about 14. Toronto, Washington about 14. Brooklyn, Boston's like 15.5. OKC, Utah, 16.5. So you have 4 games today where there are, well, I guess OKC's on the road, but all the point being is like blowouts, a little bit more built in today. So the assumption is that like if Toronto's kicking ass, the starters play a little bit longer because it is the NBA Cup and point differential matters. So just something to keep in mind here, which I should say more aggressively in the opening of the video. But Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George coming up for me. These are really your only good producers for Washington. McCollum, we've seen spike, but overall on the year, the usage is only at 23.5%. Keyshawn George's role to me the last 3 games seems like it's solidified pretty meaningfully. He's shooting a bit unsustainably well, still at 63% true shooting. But I love Keyshawn George, man. He's one of my favorite players in the league right now. From a guy I thought coming in, I think like last year, thought he'd just be like a pure 3-and-D guy. Then I saw the fantasy game kind of evolve before my eyes, as Washington had nobody else left to play that mattered. Now this year, like he started the year playing really hot, lineup got healthy, he kind of deferred. Now he's not deferring at all. I am in the bag for Keyshawn George this year. So I like him a lot. I'm above the field more than 2x on him. Sarr, if he's in, looks good to me. If he's out, Tristan Vukcevic, most important player of the slate at 3,200. Toronto, 127.5 implied points on their side. Barnes is chalk. Pirtle's chalk. Quickly's chalk. Ingram and Barrett are owned for what they are. You don't want to play all these Raptors. Like it's not likely that they all get there is the best way to say that. I think playing Barrett, shitty projection, but he and Ingram are less owned than Barnes and Quickly by a decent amount. The usage can flow to those guys a little bit more, but your best producer on the team is Barnes. It makes sense why he's chalk. Quickly, Barrett and Ingram all around 1 fantasy point and change. They're all fine. None of them great. Pirtle a little bit underneath that this year. I'm not as crazy about him as Stokastic is, but I do him for 30 fantasy points. I think Toronto looks okay today. I'm not sure if there is much of a smash play as the ownership is indicating right now. Jamal Shed is value. We talked about already. Just nobody good available as value right now. So he's really the one, like if you were telling me I could only play one guy from this game, I'd play Jamal Shed, and I think that would be it for me. Ingram needs 30 more points to hit 10K milestone. Maybe nothing. Sure. He'll hit it. If he doesn't hit it today, he'll hit it tomorrow. Or whenever they play next. Like, I don't know. I don't think that matters that much, but sure. Miami, we got 123.5 implied. Chicago, 126 implied. Again, gigantic total for this game. I really don't recall many being about 250. So for Miami here, you're getting a lot of ownership for Jaquez. I can't get there projection wise. The rates don't spike enough for me with Andrew Wiggins out and Bam Adebayo in. The Heat don't look great to me here. You're getting a lot of ownership for Jaquez, a lot of ownership for Pele Larson, a little bit for Fontecchio, a little bit for Davion Mitchell, a little bit for Norman Powell. I'm a little bit above on Powell. I'm under on Mitchell. I'm way under on Jaquez. I'm getting 22% Larson, but I'm under on him. Drew Smith, I'm under on. I don't really know why he's a play. Fontecchio, I think, is a better play because of Wiggins being out, but I don't feel awesome about him. It is a not great defense for Chicago and another high-paced team, even though it is technically pace up for Miami here, or pace down for Miami here. But I just don't agree with the Jaquez chalk is really the main thing. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, don't know how I would get there. I'd have to change some rates and all that. Chicago on their side, I think looks better, in particular with the Josh Giddey side of the equation. Giddey and Kobe White look really strong to me. Kobe White's been playing his mind out so far. Small sample size, but 1.45 fantasy points a minute. I think it's possible because of the matchup that they both might be able to hit, but more likely, I think playing Kobe White a little bit above the field, playing Giddey a little bit less, I think that makes the most sense to me here. But really high total for Chicago, really high total for Miami, really high total for the game. So you can play whatever you want. Miami, projection-wise to me, though, does look a bit overowned. The dog is not in the studio today, thankfully. I left her outside because I have 3 hours straight of streams today, and I also have the live before lock today, and I do not need the dog in here making it more difficult on me. But yeah, I appreciate asking. Nothing erotic going on with the dog today, unfortunately. New Orleans 114.5 implied, Dallas 118. Anthony Davis still out for Dallas. Cooper Flagg back in, it looks like. D'Angelo Russell, after reports that the team hates him, he is now questionable, downgraded to questionable with an illness. So convenient timing for D'Angelo Russell on that spot. He's still in the data, though, so that's something to keep in mind as we get to Dallas' side. Derek Queen looks good. Jeremiah Fears looks good. That's about it for me. Queen, very chalky at 48% expected ownership. I'm getting 60. Zion, I just don't see it all. Queen is hurting him by taking a lot of usage away. Trey Murphy getting hurt by Zion being back in and Queen taking usage away. Fears is number 2 on the team in usage as well. So he's not deferring much either. Dallas's defense has been pretty good. Appreciably better than league average, but it's a pace up technically. I know Zion, not a projection play. Murphy, not a projection play. But, if they hit their ceiling, that's one of the ways that Queen and to a lesser extent Fears, who's going to be not as owned, that's how they fail. So something to keep in mind. Dallas 118 implied points. If we take Russell out, I think it's going to help out a little bit to get PJ Washington looking slightly better. Cooper Flagg slightly better. Brandon Williams in particular, gaining a few minutes and some points and assist upside, looking slightly better here. They're facing the Pelicans, one of the worst defenses in basketball. Not quite Wizards bad, but around that Nets range of bad as well. Dallas unowned. Wouldn't shock me if something spikes here with Russell being out of the picture, assuming that he does get ruled out. But Brandon Williams has been the guy that I've got the most lately on slates. PJ Washington, he'll have upside, but he's definitely priced for it at this point. Cooper Flagg just hasn't gotten close enough for me to want to go there yet. Think he needs PJ Washington to be out to really have a shot at usefulness. Getting Russell out, these guys look better now. They're playing the Pelicans. It's probably all you need. Minnesota, 118.5 implied. Phoenix, 115. I got nothing in this game. Jaden McDaniels always looks good to me. He's producing fairly well in the air, though shooting unsustainably well at 66% true shooting. Getting him 2x to field at 5,800. Not a big stand there. I'm not getting Ant. Getting Randall about half the field's ownership. Not getting Gobert, really. Not getting Naz Reid. Really not getting DiVincenzo much. Phoenix is a not great... Well, honestly, their defense is rounding into form. That's average. It is a slight pace down. In my mind, Phoenix is a better matchup than this, and it's not. So it's probably why I'm not getting these guys very much. Phoenix on their side, Devin Booker feels like a tournament option. Gillespie looks okay to me with Grayson Allen out. But nothing I love here. Dylan Brooks always projects better for me than Stokastic. He's been putting up a 28% usage rate on the year. He thinks he's like the number 2 option on the team. And with Grayson Allen out, it makes it easier for him to keep thinking that. Getting 5% Dylan Brooks is a tournament option. He's 6,600, so the ceiling is a little bit priced out there. But I think Booker, tournament option, Brooks at low ownership, being the one low-owned piece in a lineup. I like that. Mark Williams, Against Gobert, probably not playable though. Denver 116 implied points. Not great totals here for Denver or Houston. But two good offenses going head to head against two teams that are a little bit better than league average in defense. Jokic at 13-2. I'm willing to pay that price tag. Doesn't matter if Westbrook was more expensive historically or not. Jokic to me a very strong player still, despite that price coming up. And the fact the price is up, he'll get played less. So I'm willing to take on your Jamal Sheds, willing to take on your Steven Adamses, willing to take on your Fontecchios if that allows me to get Jokic. But that's really because Jokic is also 4% owned. If the field were going to play Jokic like 25%, you probably don't want to chase him that much up and play kind of specious value to get there. But on this slate, it's not the case. Houston 118.5 on their side. And also Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, okay tournament options as well, but none of them stand out that much. Valanciunas, he can get into lineups here as a value, but wouldn't play him with Jokic. Şengün, 29% ownership for me. Fields at 13. Looks good right now, assuming that no better value opens up or something that changes, makes the other guys a better play. Şengün gains a little bit from having Tari Eason out. That helps him out. But really, he's just producing 1.3 fantasy points a minute, and that's the benchmark or a benchmark for a guy we want to get for the ceiling. Reed Shepherd, again, will look better if he closes here. Right now, getting 4x the field because there isn't great value on the slate. Steven Adams, same thing, 31% for me, 19% for the field. Look, I think I'm playing this game more than the field well overall, and I'm cool with that. I think that this game, we're two really good offenses. I think can maybe beat out the fact that the total is a little bit low and the perception is that there are good defenses or good enough defenses to impede both offenses respectively rather. So, yeah, I like this game. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good NBA Cup game. And it feels like the kind of game too, where like it gets overtime as a late night hammer and then you're fucked if you don't have it. So I'm cool. Not that that's a reason I play lineups, but I wouldn't mind that being a reason. I play those lineups a little bit more. And for you guys playing FanDuel / late slate, nothing looks awesome to me on OKC besides AJ Mitchell, Isaiah Joe as well. Just a lot of usage go around for OKC with Jalen Williams still out. Obviously you have Aaron Wiggins still out as well. Utah on their side playing OKC. Hard to love anything against the best defense in basketball. Okay, we've talked about so many teams around that 113, 114 defensive efficiency rating. OKC is at 104. They are like so worlds ahead of every other team in basketball right now. It's crazy. And they're missing like two of their key rotational guys. But Utah, I don't see how you do it. Marketing at 9K feels like a joke. Keontae George looks okay. Portland getting Drew Holiday back in. He looks like the best play as a result. Nothing I love here. And Golden State with no Kuminga, nothing pops up too much, but Curry and Butler are certainly close enough to playable, but nothing that exciting. All right, we're going to go to the sim next on Stokastic. See what they think. You've gotten a read on what I look like here, but now you can get a read on what a sim looks like without my interference. So let's do that. Let me refresh and make sure we got the latest data. No injuries, no illnesses yet, right? So we're okay. But you guys know the deal. Between the segments, it's time to ask. Hit that like button. Subscribe. If you get any value in this video, even if all you're going to do is fade me, I don't think it's going to work out super well for you, to be honest, because, like, I hit things at a decent enough rate. Like, you can fade some stuff, and you'll probably kill me. But, if you fade everything, you're going to be fucked. So it's the push-pull of DFS content, guys. But I'm here Monday to Friday, every day, 2 p.m. Tomorrow I'll be on Stokastic Live before Lock Show, as well as today. So you get a lot of NBA content from me throughout the week, and check it out, and do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's your money. It's always what I'll encourage you to do. But hit that like button, subscribe. That doesn't cost you any money. So that you should do. And check out Stokastic. You want to see this stuff updated as the day goes on. You want to get your own projections in, want to play with stuff, boost ROIs, dock projections a little bit. It's a good way to use the Sims tool. Check it out for yourself. Promo code SPLASH, link down in the description. If you do click the link down below, it'll take you to a page where it shows you basically every package they have available. So you can see which one you want. They're all 15% off, whether it is weekly or monthly. Let's check it out for yourself over at Stokastic with that promo code SPLASH. Get 15% off. Riding a 2-month dry spell, getting frustrated, been playing since 2015. This is my longest dry spell, sucks. There's a lot of great players. I would say myself included, even though I would not say I'm a great player. I think I'm a great content creator. I don't think I'm a great DFS player necessarily. I'm always trying to get better than everybody else. That said, I would say like there are great players I know that have lost. Like Ship My Money, I think is a great player. He lost at one point for like an entire summer. I think that was baseball, but like it's happened. Might have been a basketball year too, because I'm thinking pandemic times. There are really good DFS players that lose for periods of time, then come back, win more. That's unfortunately DFS in general. And our Stanley probably knows this more than most, but if you are one of those people out there that's going through a losing streak, that's why we talk every video before I put up my face on a fake dollar bill. like, you want to be mindful of bankroll always in DFS. You want to be able to sustain a month of losing. I guess in our Stanley's case, 2 months of losing, but you got to be able to do that because DFS is harder than ever. And, and if you're not doing anything unique for yourself on a given slate, like that's why I use my data, because at least I know like I'm doing something that's different on the fundamental level of everything I'm doing. If you're just playing like chalky lineups every slate, not that our Stanley is, but if you're doing that, that could be part of the issue as well. That is what happens when you stack Royals for 162 games. That's true. All right, we got top ROI lineup right now, again, with nothing that should be different right now. Emmanuel quickly, Jalen Tyson, Bilal Coulibaly makes it, so some theoretical leverage on my boy Keyshawn George. Derek Queen, Alex Sarr makes it. Davion Mitchell, Pele Larson, Nikola Jokic. So you're getting some Heat pieces. Getting some Wizards, sure. Number 2 ROI lineup. Josh Giddey, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Tyson, Evan Mobley, Isaiah Jackson, Jeremiah Fears, RJ Barrett, Steven Adams. Number 2. I mean, look, I like Giddey. Donovan Mitchell, I feel like is one of those guys. Doesn't matter what his projection is. If he's low owned, he might win a tournament that day. But him and Mobley together, I don't need that. These lineups don't really feel anything too strongly about them right now. Number 3 ROI lineup is Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Tyson, Pele Larson, Evan Mobley, Jakob Poeltl, Norman Powell, Derek Queen, Alex Sarr again. I mean, the Queen Sarr stuff I'm cool with. Jalen Tyson, he's very cheap, but you could just do fucking nothing even at 3,100. But at shooting guard, small forward, 3,100. There's no value right now. Number 4, Josh Giddey. Jaime Jaquez makes this. You're getting our Bulls Miami game stack here. Pele Larson as well in that. Evan Mobley, Jakob Poeltl, Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, and Daniel Gafford makes it. Interesting. Number 5, my best value play of the day, it looks like. Jamal Shed right now. Drew Smith, Pele Larson, Cam Whitmore, Alex Sarr, Josh Giddey, Derek Queen, Nikola Jokic. So you're just kind of getting dice roll value guys / semi-value guys, and pretty common core here with Chicago Heat stuff, Derek Queen, more Jokic than I would have thought as well. I'd love to hear that. You Lafayette shit my money, won me lots of cash over the years. I'm glad to hear it. I appreciate it a bunch. Who are my top 4 spend ups? Scroll back to the beginning of the video, Greg. You can see the top protected plays in my data. All right, top ROIs right now. We got Nikola Jokic, positive ROI. I said it. I'm playing Nikola Jokic. Whenever he's going to be under 5% owned, just take the shot is really how I feel about it. But Jokic, if there's better value that opens up, the Jokic ownership will come up. The ROI will probably have a little bit of a push-pull dynamic with that. But Jokic, the fact that he seems hard to afford in the slate, you saw guys asking that in chat. That's when you want to play Jokic, is when people don't think they can make it work. They're not comfortable playing him. It's how I feel about playing Jokic. Daniel Gafford, especially playing Houston. Like, people don't like that matchup. Daniel Gafford, number 2 ROI. I'm surprised by that. What do I have Gafford at? Gafford, number 2 on the slate? Oh, they've got Gafford 5 fantasy points higher than I do. I mean, Gafford was a killer last year. He's not been as good this year. He's only averaging 1 fantasy point per minute. My personal belief would be that having Flag out there and PJ Washington doing a little bit more is hurting Gafford somewhat actively. But, Stokastic does rely on the longer-term sample size more than I do, where I try to really pivot to this season's rates and stuff as soon as I can. They do it a little bit differently, which is part of what you do when you're a large company and you're trying to give median projections for tens of thousands of people. I don't like Gafford as much, but they think he's the number 2 ROI guy in the slate, so feel free to default to Stokastic data, as we always talk about. Nikola Vucevic, 1.2% ROI for him. Technically a positive number in that big pace-up spot versus Miami. AK salary as well. And I do think Giddey will be owned. I mean, we saw that. Kobe White being a little bit more owned wouldn't shock me. So getting leverage on that with Vucevic, I think, is not a bad move. Jalen Tyson, that salary and the positionality gets him a positive ROI as well. Isaiah Jackson's at number 5, despite a slightly negative ROI. And overall, highest exposed guys, we've got Derek Queen in 67% of lineups, Fields at 47, 20% leverage, one of the chalkiest plays in the slate. So Derek Queen looking like good chalk and Stokastic data. Pele Larson, 63% exposure, Fields at 35. So you're getting almost 2x the field on Pele Larson. I do not feel that way about him. I took rates just real fast. Let's do this. I'm going to go, I can't go to add more funds because NBA Wowie does not work correctly. Just real fast for Miami here. Share this tab. Again, add more funds with NBA Wowie is not working correctly right now. Let me zoom out. There we go. So this is the one I have to use instead. You search Fantasy Labs on-off tool. It'll do the job for you. Let's take Wiggins off this year. Jovic is also out, which does matter a little bit. Sample size is not going to be big for this amount of court time by taking off both Jovic and Andrew Wiggins, but you get a read here. So Hawkins is a 24% usage rate without Wiggins and Jovic, a very small sample size, about 110 possessions. We're normally looking for probably a little more than that, but we're looking for 1,000 possessions for rates to stabilize. But Hawkins producing 24% usage, 28% assist rate, 11% rebound rate. Normally this year, Hawkins produces 22% usage, 24% assist rate. He just doesn't gain as much as I think the data is giving him right now. And Larson, same thing. Like Larson is down here with a 18% usage rate, not really rebounding, not really assisting. I just don't know how they're getting this much. And I get that Chicago's a high-paced matchup and all that, but it seems like they're just kind of giving a boost to everything Heat related. And I don't think that should be the case. But this is so much Pele Larson. Like I'm not there, but the sim is. So feel free to default to the sim. I will not be playing this much Pele Larson. Jalen Tyson, 41% fields at 17. If he starts, you could talk me into 3,100 shooting guard, small forward. If he's off the bench, no thank you. I'd rather play my Jamal Shed, rather play my Fontecchio, rather play my Steven Adams. But, he's cheap. There's nobody else at his price tag on the slate. The projection, though, Stokastic has him at 19. I've got him at 16.8. He's just not much of a dude unless he starts Jalen Tyson, that is. Jakob Poeltl, 41% for Stokastic, fields at 40, so slightly positive leverage there. And Evan Mobley, 34%, fields at 21. About 13% leverage on him. Highest leverage play is Pele Larson. They love him. Jalen Tyson, they love him. And again, just to kind of, Stokastic, I would presume, does not think that Pele Larson and Jalen Tyson are these singularly great plays, though they have Larson as like a fucking 6x value, which seems nuts to me. What they represent, though, is like salary price points where there is a respectable projection and they allow you to get the guys that spike around them. It's a big part of NBA DFS. It's like yesterday's lineups. I locked Bogdan Bogdanovic. It was an awful play. Like he did terribly yesterday. But the fact that I locked him and I also locked a couple of the Grizzlies, locked Aldama, Vince Williams, and Cedric Coward. The fact I gave myself a core allowed me to have like guys I had well projected kind of rotating around that. So I got Maxey at like a third of my lineups. I got Rollins at about 40, 50% of my lineups. I forget what it was. Like, so I had the nuts around them, even though those players let me down. That's what I presume the sim is giving you here. It's like, it's giving you Larson. It thinks Larson's a really good play too. But it's giving you Larson, it's giving you Tyson, because with those salaries, you can put whatever you want around that. And if you capture Sar going nuts, you capture Jokic going nuts, Vucevic going nuts, that's what leads to the highest ROIs. So, even if you don't like Larson and Tyson like I don't, I think it's for the sim, it's about what they represent on the slate. Derek Queen, he also represents something meaningful on the slate with power forward center eligibility in 5,500. The fact that he went that nuts against Denver last game, I thought was really impressive. Going against Dallas with their lack of centers that worry us. I think Derek Queen is a very good play again. And Daniel Gafford, you're getting almost 3x the field on him, 19% leverage. Definitely I'd prefer Derek Queen, but Gafford's single-digit owned, so Gafford, if Stokastic is right, could be your low-owned leverage play on the slate. And Evan Mobley, we saw already, 13% leverage on the field, just a little bit ahead of Vucevic, Jokic, all those guys. Jokic, for what it's worth, Stokastic has at 15% ownership, Fields at about 4. Negative leverage plays, they hate my boy Keyshawn George. Negative 11% leverage on Keyshawn George, only 14% exposure, Fields at 25. I'll be up on Keyshawn George, so again, feel free to default to the very successful site instead of me, the independent streamer here. But I like Keyshawn George, and I think he has impressed me a lot these last few games, kind of taking the role back when just guys are still in the lineup, and he's like dominating the ball more than he was in the beginning part of the year when everybody got healthy. Fontecchio, they're fading as well. I like Fontecchio as value, 5% exposure, Fields at 15, negative 11% leverage for Stokastic's top 150. Tristan Vukcevic will not look that good right now because he's only going to be getting backup minutes for Marvin Bagley, who's doubtful. But if Sar is out, Tristan Vukcevic is the most important play in the slate, and you should play him in every lineup. And that is a stamp it. That is a Spags promise. If Sar is out, just play Vukcevic and come back on Monday and go, all right, that was the right play. Like that's how it looks. At 3,200, best value on the slate by a wide margin. And he would also ice Jalen Tyson in terms of ownership, a good amount, I would think. Derek White, negative 7% leverage. I don't love him on the thumbnail, but I think Derek White, 7,500. He's not super chalk like I thought he might be. So I'm willing to be there today, but Stokastic is not. Let's do a hand build real fast, and then we will call it a day. Have a preferred position for utility? It's not a dumb question because you said it's not a dumb question, but like no, it just depends on the slate. I would never. I think for football, you can make a case that like if all the optimal lineups have tight end in the flex, you shouldn't play tight end in the flex as much. But sometimes that's the way the pricing works, and you kind of have to. For basketball, I'd say for basketball, I'm usually getting a center because that's just the biggest upside position and most underpriced often. But it's whatever. It's whatever the math gives you. Like for NBA, you could tweak projections, you could tweak lineups, you could set uniques higher, you could boost ROIs and stuff. But ultimately, you just want to play some spin on like what the best projected plays are. So it can be anything, but I think it's often going to be a center. All right, let's build our lineup here. Let me sort by my stuff on this sheet so I can build it quickly, and we can call it a day. Point guard, I think it's going to be Reed Shepherd for me. Go Reed Shepherd, get some value in. Why is he not? What? Oh, this is yesterday's slate. Why did it not refresh? Okay, here we go. Large contest, 25% to first. Let's try this again. Reed Shepherd, not great value on the slate. My hope is that he closes today. Certainly, though, if Jamal Murray's cooking, they'll put Aaron Holiday in like they did last game, going against Donovan Mitchell. But I think Reed Shepherd, at his price tag, has upside. If he plays closing minutes, I think he gets to 30. 30 fantasy points, that is. I like Reed Shepherd overall. Shooting guard for me is Keyshawn George. The sim hates him, though, so I'm going to get punished for this. Sim loves Jaime Jaquez, it seems, or at least likes Jaquez enough. Does not like Keyshawn George, but I'm going to fly in the face of that and play my boy here at shooting guard. Small forward. It's going to disagree with me again, but I'm going to go Michael Porter Jr. at small forward. We're spending enough money. I might not be able to fit Jokic in this lineup, but let's give it a shot with Derek Queen next. Derek Queen, power forward. What do I feel about Randall? I feel nothing for Randall. But I talked about Minnesota. I'm not really getting any of those guys. Yeah, I don't know. I've had Randall projected well lately, and I've played him. Today, I do not. Center, can we get Jokic in? 4,100 left for these spots. So now we just play the shitty value, huh? Which, all right, you know what? I'm going to play my all-stars. Jamal Shed, come on down. Fontecchio, come on down, buddy. Got 5,400 left for one more spot. Who can we afford here? Sim loves Gafford. I don't like Gafford, but I'll get the Sim what it wants here. Playing the Pelicans certainly could do some damage. All right, so I put in my guys I like. I don't know if this is going to sim well, but the lineup here is Reed Shepherd, Keyshawn George, Michael Porter Jr., Derek Queen, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Shed, Fontecchio, and Gafford. 52% ROI, and I think we're pretty unique. So this is the final entry. Great lineup. Thank you, Sim. I had to yell at the Sim a lot during the NFL show because it kept going Alvin Kamara and Saints D, and I do not agree with that for NFL Week 12. But this one, I'm cool with it. Fill it out with shit value and do one you like the players minus Jokic. No, I did one. I did one's enough here. Udoka treats Reed like Pritchard back when he was with Boston. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, look, the big thing for Reed is that he's not like a fully foreign basketball player yet. He is like still kind of learning. But the fact he closes more games than not lately, I think is really the upside. So that's that. But anyway, guys, show some love if you can. I'm gonna give you guys my splash plays for the day. You should have an idea based on what we just showed here. But before I do that, one last ask. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. And you guys have been showing up in a major way here as this channel 1 month into the NBA season now. I'm feeling really good about the growth, but we are strapped in through the NBA Finals is my goal as it was last year. So let's keep building here. Hit that like button, subscribe, help me reach more people. And of course, support the channel if you can by joining stuff. Signing up for Stokastic, 15% off, link down below. Check out all the options you have, whether you want to get NBA data, all the sports, just want to get some MMA data. It's all 15% off that promo code SPLASH, and it does support the show because half the money you pay to Stokastic comes back to me, and that is a big way I can afford what I'm doing right now, which is a lot of work with these 2 seasons going on. And join the channel too. Support the channel for $5. Get into the Discord or get my projections and my data sheets on here by joining the Squirt Squad or VIP tiers. You get the different options of those, but check it out down below. I would encourage you guys, if you're on iOS, you can pay the extra VIG if it's easier for you, but go to desktop if you want to get a membership because it's just a little bit cheaper and and it's easier to manage, I think, at that point. But let's see here. Splash plays for the day. It's really not the value, guys. I mean, it's Keyshawn George. Keyshawn George to me is Ryan Rollins yesterday. A little bit of a different situation because there's not a Giannis out. But in terms of my projection, just going like this guy is a better play than the markets think, and I feel that way about Keyshawn George. I felt that way the last 3 slates he's been on. It feels like the bottom can fall off, but if like McCollum starts shooting a lot, it will fuck over Keyshawn George. But I like him at this price tag, and I'm going to be there above the field today. Derek Queen is just a core play for me no matter what. If we don't get better value opening up, I will say that Shed, Shepard, Steven Adams, and Fontecchio are my value guys that I will be willing to play. And I'll put Jokic in as a splash play as well. You just saw how I would try to build a lineup here. So Ford Jokic, if you want to do that, find your own values, take the ones I want. Better value might open up later on today. It's the NBA, so keep your eyes peeled for that stuff. But I appreciate all you guys being here. Again, make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time here, but really manage your bankrolls, be smart about it because you can get wiped out in NBA for longer than you would like. But I will see you guys later today on Stokastic, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on the Live Before Lock show with my pal Greg Ehrenberg, so tune in there. Tomorrow, my projections also update on Saturdays. I don't do a show, but I will, a show here. I do one on Stokastic, Live Before Lock with my pal Emac tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But thanks for a good week, guys. I appreciate all of you being here, and I will see you guys again soon. So enjoy your days. Good luck. Hop in the Discord if you have any questions, and catch you guys on Live Before Lock, I guess. All right, bye, guys.